Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. The Canada Revenue Agency site, you can go in and you should have a My Account. Fairly straightforward. It should take you under 5 minutes. And if you have online payment set up, a payment should be in your account between 3 to 5 days. We haven't had any issues with the program so far. It seems to be going really well, really smoothly. And just to recap, it's $1,250 per individual student for 4 months. So May, June, July, August. You can still make income of up to $1,000. And you can also pair this up with something like the Canada Service Grant. Again, the details on that is not quite out yet, but it will be out shortly, and you can pair it up with that as well. So it's a fairly, I think it's a fair benefit. I know obviously it doesn't beat working. If you have a full-time summer job, you will obviously be making more, but this is something that hopefully will support a lot of people get through to September.
Mm-hmm. And just to go over which students are eligible, I know you mentioned that the income has to be below $1,500. You said
$1,000.
1,000, yeah.
Yeah, well, like you can still have a part-time job basically, right? During this time. But the eligibility is those who are enrolled in post-secondary education. If you graduated in December, for example, you're still eligible for that. So December of 2019, you're still eligible. It's also qualified. Some students, high school students, are also eligible to get this. International students, unfortunately, are not. So I know that's a question we get asked a fair bit. They're not specifically included in this, but they, like other students, because many students may still qualify for the regular CERB, the CERB, the Canada Emergency Response Benefit, which is $500 per week, so $2,000 per month. And that's if you made $5,000 in the previous year, and if you have to have stopped working because of COVID-19. So, for example, if you worked part-time at the university and you made $5,000 last year, and for some reason, the job at the library, they said because of COVID, we're shutting the library down, then you're eligible to apply for CERB. So students are not precluded from applying for the regular CERB program.
Cool, thank you. So I know you mentioned the My Account. Can you tell us a little bit more about what My Account is and how to create one?
So My Account is Canada Revenue Agency. So all of you will be filing taxes usually after 18, once you reach 18. So your annual taxes you'll be filing, whether it's online or through a tax preparer. And usually when you do it online, you can apply for an account. So you will get your own Canada Revenue Agency account. And that account basically will allow you to access your previous tax returns, get information on what your eligibilities are. But at the same time, there's the direct link from there for you to apply for the Canada Emergency Student Benefit. So once you register for the My Account, you can do that instantaneously. If there's a glitch, then you will be mailed a number. You'll be mailed basically 3 to 5 days. You'll get your password in the mail, and then you use that to actually set it up in case there's a glitch, and then you can actually directly apply for the benefit right there. Can I ask you guys a question?
Go for it.
What kind of feedback are you getting on this? Like what kind of concerns and like what are the gaps here that we're missing?
Personally, I know that a lot of international students have been struggling with not being included.
We got a few messages to our account about like signing up for My Account. Like there's been some issues like getting access to the account, and I guess just finding out where to make their account. I think that was a concern.
And
Another big concern too is defining what is actively looking for a job, what's included in that term, because most students are unsure what that is, and it is actually one of our questions for today as well.
It's a subjective question. And it's relative to the individual. So look, I think the idea is that we didn't want this to be a disincentive for people to look for a job, right? And that's really the challenge, because in reality, many students actually don't work in the summer, right? Many are in school or they're doing other stuff. Many go traveling. So we wanted to make sure that there's some encouragement for people to look for a job. But also we fully realize that this is not the best year to get a summer job. Like, so it's one of those balances. And I think as long as you're making it, nobody is auditing you on this. Nobody's asking for, give me a list of all the jobs you've applied for. But at least, we want to remind people that working is always the best form of income support that you can generate. So if you're able to get a job, that would be our recommendation. But on international students, I mean, that's a very, very difficult one for me as well, because I hear that a lot. I mean, from public policy perspective, I think we were afraid of the potential pushback, because we always get negativity when we say we want to include especially those who are non-citizens, non-PR. So as a result, international students were specifically precluded from it. I know there's still, we've been giving that feedback that we do want to see them covered. International students in Canada account for $39 billion to our economy. So the relative amount of money that we will spend, relatively low amount of money we will spend on supporting international students for 4 months, will pay us dividends in the long term. So it's strategically, I think, it would have been a wise thing for us to do, but we didn't choose to go there. But because many international students are really struggling, and we hear that a fair bit. So I think it would have been a nice thing for us to do, but unfortunately, due to fiscal constraints, we just had to have some limitations.
And Farah has the last question for our CESB questions.
Yes. So our last question is it taxable? And if it is, what does that mean?
So it's taxable means you will have to pay income tax on it, but it's not taxed at source. Okay, and there's a difference. So usually when you're working at, if you have a part-time job or if you have a job, usually they will deduct the tax when they give you the check. All right. So if you're working in a summer camp, you will, if you're getting $1,000, you'll probably get 900 because they're deducting the income tax payable on it. But right now, the way this is designed, the tax is back-ended. So when you file your taxes in April of next year, and when you file the income tax, the $5,000 you'll make over the summer will be included as taxable income, and based on your income from other sources, throughout the year, you may have to pay tax back. But obviously, the personal exemption is, I think it's just under 12,000. So for most students, this really doesn't really affect them if they don't work extensively outside of the part-time jobs. It shouldn't really affect them. But if it does, then there's a marginal tax you'll have to pay on it based on your income.